أقيم دعوتي وقل يا غفور أسرتي، فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها وهموم قد كشفتها وأسرة قد أقلتها ورحمة قد نشرتها وألقت بلاء فقد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبروا تكبيرا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
الحمد لله بجميع محامدي كلها على جميع نعمي كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مزاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده ظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير ما حاجة بي إليه عظيمة وغناك عنه قديم وهو عندي كثير وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إني عفوك عن ذنبي وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي وصفك عن ظلمي وستك على قبيح عملي وحلمك عن كثير جرمي. عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من أجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك، فإن أبت عني أتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبت عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك علي. يا رب إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك وتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك وتتودد إلي، فلا أقبل منك كأن لي تطول عليك. فلم يمنع كذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك، فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد علي بفضل إحسانك إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الأسباب ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإسماء ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى فتبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله ولا شبيه يشاكله ولا زهير يعازده، قهر بعزته الأعزاء وتواضع لعظمته العظماء فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصي، ويعزم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعزيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني. فأثني عليه حامدا واذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائل ولا يخيب آمل. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويدعو المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستفرغ الآخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موزع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير.
اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وسفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين. وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمام الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي وججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم صل على ولي أمرك القائم المعمل والعدل المنتظر وحفوا بملائكتك المقربين وأيدوا بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعل الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك استخلفوا في الأرض كما استخلفت الذي منه قبل مكن له دينه الذي ارتزيته له أبد له من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعز وأعزز به وانصر وانتصر به وانصر نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم زر بدينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من خلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فهملنا وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعصنا واشعب به صدعنا وارتق به فتقنا وكسر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا واغن به آيلنا واقض به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا واسد به خلتنا ويسر به أسرنا وبيز به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وانجح به تلبتنا وانجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا واعتنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا واتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعتين اشف به صدورنا واذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكسرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتزاور الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآله وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجل وبزر تكشف ونصر تعز وسلطان حق تظهر ورحمة منك تجللنا وعافية منك تلبسنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مجددا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to be at Masjid al-Rasul and for giving us the ability to fast on this month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all your prayers and efforts on this month. Tomorrow marks Ramadan 10, which is the anniversary of departure of Hazrat Khadija Kubra, Salamullah alayha. On behalf of myself and Masjid al-Rasul board, please accept my condolences upon this day. And Ajaga Modares will have a speech tonight about Hazrat Khadija Kubra, Salamullah alayha, as well. But we will go over our regular announcements. Our month of Ramadan programs will continue through the end of month of Ramadan, inshallah, every day about an hour before iftar with recitation of Quran. As I've been mentioning, please join us for recitation of Quran. If you're a beginner reader or you're advanced or in the middle, it doesn't matter. Anybody can participate. A few ayahs. You can improve your reading, and you can also get the thawab for reciting Quran on this month as well. We need your financial support as usual. I have to mention that. We are here every night on this month, and this is your monthly donations that we are paying for the maintenance of this place, for utilities, and all our cost goes up this month because, again, we are here every night. So if you can please make sure that your monthly pledges are paid, and if you can boost it this month a little bit, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's take a moment and recognize all those brothers and sisters who are working tirelessly before iftar and during iftar to serve all of us with their hospitality. They're doing a great job. From those brothers and sisters, everybody from that kitchen all the way to this room, for the health of all of them, please say aloud salawat, my brothers and sisters. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And also, let's remember the sponsor of tonight's iftar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them for sponsoring for tonight's and for their own health and their marhumin, and other salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please help us to keep our masjid clean as much as possible. We're here every night. Nobody gets paid to do the cleaning, so we have to make sure that we do our part in keeping our masjid clean. With that being said, Ajaga Modares will have a speech and the... Yes. Oh, wow. If we have complaint from sister side that there's a lot of noises from our side, so that must be really bad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You heard my wife. Okay, please listen. Okay. I have to obey the order, so I convey the message. I wanna be able to go home tonight. Don't shoot the messenger. Yes, please. Okay. La ilaha illallah. Okay, so the title of tonight's speech that Ajaga will deliver is Lady Khadija, Salamullah alayha, mother of believers. And now I welcome respected Ajaga Modares to Mambar for speech. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For the honor Maulana wa Sayyidina Rasulullah and his Immaculate Progeny Ahlul Bayt, recite the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For the honor of all the pious women of our history of Islam, those who sacrifice a lot for the sake of our faith and our religion, especially Hazrat Khadija Kubra Salamullah alayha, recite the second salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين واللعن دائم على أعدائهم أعداء الله أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. صدق الله العلي العظيم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala illuminate our hearts by the light of Iman and guidance and help us to be among the true followers of our deen, our Prophet and his immaculate progeny, Ahlul Bayt and Quran, with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My condolences on the arrival of the 10th of Ramadan. Tomorrow marks the death anniversary of the first woman to accept the message of the Prophet, the first Muslim who stood by the side of Prophet, as well as one of the greatest supporter of our Holy Prophet, Mother Fatima al-Zahra, al-Mu'mineen, Khadija al-Kubra, Salamullah alayha. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send his best peace and blessing upon Khadija Kubra, Salamullah alayha, and her family, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Let's remember Khadija Kubra, Salamullah alayha, with another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Tonight, as an exception, we would put our topic on hold, and inshallah we get back to that tomorrow night. And we spend this few minutes that I have, inshallah, to take a look at the life of Khadija Kubra Salamullah alayha. I cannot cover her entire biography, but we can focus on one aspect of her life, and inshallah, from her life we can find a source of inspiration, as well as also commemoration and remembrance of this lady that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have in a statement that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the word of the Prophet that I am boasting to my angels by the existence of Khadija. Mubahat is that when you are honoring and at the same time glorifying a character to the point that you say to the rest of your creation that look at this woman, look at this lady, she is a servant of mine. And she is someone who represents the purpose of creation properly. Khadija Salamullah alayha was born in the city of Mecca at the era of Jahiliyyah, and an era of ignorance. And her father, his name is Khuwaylid. And when you look at the ancestors of Khadija, they are going all the way to Qusay, which Qusay was the great-grandfather of our Prophet. So when you look at the forefathers of Khadija Salamullah alayha, they share the same forefathers with the Holy Prophet, Khadija and Prophet. So Khuwaylid, Asad, it goes up all the way to Qusay, Ibn Kilab, and goes all the way to Ismail alayhi salam. So Khadija salamullah alayha is from the descendant of Ibrahim as well. And we have that when she was born, she was the first child in her family. And her father Khuwaylid, and her mother's name was Fatima. So the name Fatima existed. It was as the name of Imam Ali's mother was also Fatima, Fatima bint Asad. So mother of Fatima to Zahra was also Fatima. Mother of Khadija Kubra is Fatima. And we have that when Khadija salamullah alayha was born, the leader of the Quraysh at the time, some narrations said was Abdul Muttalib, Prophet's grandfather. He was the leader, the chief of Quraysh at the time. He came to visit because they're ultimately somehow they're cousins, distant cousins. And when he saw Khadija sallallahu alayha, he said that there's something special about this girl. There are this nur and light that emanate from her face. So we have that he already brought a gift for this baby to be born. And we have that he also gave everything he had with him in a form of financial gift, monetary gift, out of that impression that he received from Khadija salamullah alayha, being a child. And her family wanted her to be educated. She was one of the few in Arabs who was able to read and was able to learn. Because as I mentioned in previous lectures, the Arabs of the time, the Arabs of the Quraysh and Mecca, they did not like learning and reading and writing. It was somehow against their pride for somebody to waste their time in this direction. But Khadija salamullah alayha was educated. And we have that she had a cousin by the name of Waraqah ibn Nawfal. And he was the one who had a very big age gap because he was a cousin from the eldest uncle of Khadija, and she was the child of the youngest of those brothers. So the gap between these two are, some mention that it was 40 to 50 years gap between them. And she learned from Waraqah. And we have that Waraqah ibn Nawfal, he was a Christian priest. He was well versed in teachings of Isa alayhi salam, but it's been mentioned that he was not a believer in Trinity. He didn't believe that Jesus was Son of God. He believed that Jesus was a prophet. And later on we see that Waraqah plays a role in the future of Khadija more. So she's educated by him. And later on when her father Khuwaylid passes away, Khuwaylid is one of the richest people of Mecca of the time. He has a lot of wealth, a lot of assets, you can call it. And when he died, the sole inheritor of that wealth was his daughter Khadija. So she received, and some people ask how Khadija salamullah alayha had a lot of wealth. One of the reasons is that she is the sole heir of her father's wealth ultimately. But once she becomes the one in charge of those wealth, she develops. She uses her business savviness and her skills how to use that money, not to destroy her asset, but also be able to do business and make more money. And from there we see that she becomes the richest of people of Quraysh, to the point that it had been mentioned that when caravans were leaving Mecca to do business, they go for trades for the family and for you and my cousins, why not? And that's how eventually our Prophet get hired by Khadija salamullah alayha to become a merchant, a seller with a caravan who's leaving to Sham. And we have that in this caravan, Khadija salamullah alayha, he sends servants, those who are watching, and one of them is by the name of Maysara. He's a servant, and his responsibility is to watch over this man. She heard a lot about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remember, this is the time that our prophet is still in his 20s. So he's not publicly introduced as a messenger of God. He doesn't come. But still, he's known among people as Al-Amin, the honest one, the trustworthy one. At the young age, you can see that his character is a character that is reliable, that is trustworthy, and is someone that people want to associate with. But one thing is to hear from people, and other is to see it and check it yourself. For me, history without application is incomplete. If I look at the history and I don't think about, okay, what can I learn from that part? This is not what Quran is telling us, the history of the past. In في ذلك لعبرة, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about qisas, the stories of the past, Allah says the main purpose of talking about the past is there are lessons to be learned. There are morals that we can take, that could be taken away from this. But لأولي الألباب, for those who possess intellect, for those who are wise and smart enough, when they listen to a story, they think about the relevance of that story to their lives. One lesson from this part of the story of Khadija. This is a businesswoman hiring a man who's known in society to be trustworthy. But still, she does what it has to be done to verify that information. Right? You double check. So Maysara, the servant, is accompanying Prophet and the caravan all the way throughout the journey until they come back. And Khadija salamullahi alayha asked for a report. What happened? And then this servant, this Maysara, start giving the report. So how about this young man? And the first thing he says is that I did not see anyone like him. What I saw from him was without a doubt the first time that I was exposed to such level of honesty, kindness, and truthfulness. And he started giving examples that in this occasion he could have made extra profits from vulnerability and from the need of people. He could have somehow take advantage of people, but he didn't. He made profit, but he was still fair in his trade. When it comes to treating his co-workers, he was always keeping respect. He didn't do anything out of selfishness. He was not a narcissist or self-centered. You could see that he cared enough to offer help and reach out. And also mentioned the story of a Christian monk that on their way, when he saw our Prophet, he approached him and he started asking some question about his parents. And when he became aware that this man, referring to our Prophet, he lost his parent at a young age and some other questions, he said that based on what I know from our books as a Christian, you have the signs of the final prophet of God. That we read about him, that he will be the one who's orphan and he come from this land and he has these qualities and these signs, and I can see those signs in you. So he talks about all of them. The lessons to be learned is importance of verification. People come to me and ask, Sheikh, what do you think of this family? If it's about marriage, if it's about business, if it's about any kind of trust contract that has to be agreed upon. And when they ask me, I always give them that to the best of my knowledge, this person is a good person. But I always give them kind of a disclaimer that remember, the environment that I know this person is at the masjid. What I see from them is usually good. They come and follow me in salat and prayers, and we eat together, and I give lectures and sometimes Q&A, and that's it. I did not see this person, many of them. Sometimes there are people that I do interact with outside masjid, but most of them I don't. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your part. You cannot just turn your blind eye on the truth and say, okay, Sheikh said it's good, I'm going to just go with it. Or istikhara, I'm going to do istikhara, khira. What Allah says, if it's a good, I'm going to do it, and blindly just go. This is not the way. When there is a decision to be made, there is a process to make that decision. And among those steps to be taken is that we have to research when is necessary. This person is going to be my future spouse. I need to know more about them. I need to ask around. I need to check their work environment. I need to check their social media, whatever that is available, without investigating matters that they are not my business. What is basically public knowledge, I have to do my part. So we have that after receiving that report from Maysara, Khadija salamullah alayha become aware that Prophet is single. And she's interested in marrying Prophet. So we have that she has a friend, an elder woman by the name of Nafisa. So she asked her that if you can go and talk to the Prophet and say that if he is interested, I'm interested. In this case, in our religion, this is okay. Remember, this is the modesty that unfortunately we live at a time that eventually getting weaker and weaker. Sometimes connections are not meant to overcomplicate things, but rather it's a way not to remove that barriers of shyness that sometimes is necessary. You don't want to just quickly become so friendly without actually taking the proper steps. So that's a formality you go through. So we have that when Nafisa comes and talks to the Holy Prophet, that Khadija bint Khuwaylid, one of the richest person in Mecca, is interested. And of course she has many other interested candidates they came forward for marriage, but she's not interested. She's interested in you, based on what she witnessed and what she knows of you. And we have that our Prophet consults his uncle Abu Talib alayhi salam. And eventually, through Abu Talib, they go for proposal. Khastigari, we refer to it. They go, and then officially, our Prophet asked for the hand of Khadija salamullah alayha in marriage. The nikah is being officiated by Abu Talib alayhi salam. And the rest of that become the life of Khadija and our Prophet and the struggles that they go through after our Prophet publicly announced himself to be the messenger of God. Few things to mention from life of Khadija salamullah alayha. One thing is that there are qualities that Khadija has that she had them because Allah blessed her with. They were God-given gifts. For example, her wealth in some extent was from God. Her wise and smartness when it comes to business sometimes is a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Her beauty, again, Ajmalun Nisa, has been said that she was one of the most beautiful people of her time. So these are not something that she worked for. These are God-given gifts. And we cannot do anything about that. Allah gave us certain things. فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Allah gave us things that doesn't give others, and vice versa. But there are matters that they are iktisabi, they're earned, they're acquired by the person. It's not anymore that, they were lucky or they were blessed that Allah gave them. This is something that they also put the effort in order to achieve them. And among them, the first one is Iman. Iman of Khadija is something that she worked for. Imagine how much abuse she went through after she decided to marry our Prophet. They were mocking her. Imagine you're from the elite of Quraysh. You're one of the people who your lifestyle, the type of the circles that you interact with are considered themselves higher than others. And you decide to marry an orphan who is poor, that he is your employee, or used to be your employee. It's going to be a lot of comments. And they would say things publicly in front of Khadija to insult her, to humiliate her. That, oh, look at her, that she went and married an orphan, a nobody. And for her to put all that aside and be determined to stay with the Prophet through all the difficulties. Because later on, when our Prophet is appointed as a messenger of God, Khadija salamullah alayha is ready to give everything. all her wealth. You know, to the point that we have that she asked someone, a messenger, to go and stand on the mountain of Abu Qubais, so near Mecca, near Kaaba. So go on that and scream and shout. Ask a man to do it that is louder in front of, again, the masculine society of Mecca. So this guy came and started saying the words of Khadija. That, oh people, ayyuhan nas, be aware that Khadija wahabat nafsaha li Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because there were these accusations coming to Prophet that Prophet took away her wealth, that he married her because of the wealth. Who's the one standing up for her husband? Khadija. She makes that a public announcement. She says it herself and then asks somebody to make an announcement. That Khadija gave her life, is ready to give her life for the sake of this man. You're caring about her wealth? Nafsaha, her soul is for this man. And then she mentioned, وَمَالَهَا, and my wealth belonged to him. وَهَبَتْ, I gave it to her. It's his. This has all come from the iman of Khadija. That's why Imam Ali alayhi salam said, لم يجمع بيت واحد يومئذ في الإسلام غير رسول الله وخديجة وأنا ثالثهم. If you want to know Hazrat Khadija in the word of Ali ibn Abi Talib, read Khutbah 192 of Nahj al-Balagha. This is part of that khutbah. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, there was not one house in entire Mecca, one house, that you can see that there were Muslims or Islam present, except the house of Prophet and Khadija. And I was in that house and I was the third of them. It was just one house. I was living with them because Prophet, after the death of Abu Talib, who's the guardian of Ali? Who is? Our Prophet. He returned the favor that his uncle raised him, and now he's going to raise his cousin. What else we can say about Khadija salamullah alayha? وَكَانَتْ أَكْثَرُ قُرَيْشٍ مَالًا. Her wealth, again, as I said, she was the richest of, when you come wealthiest of people of Quraysh in Mecca. But what this wealth was used for? So our Prophet just got the money and started spending it on himself. What did he do with the money? يَفُكَّ مِنْ مَالِهَا الْغَارِمِ. What Prophet did, he started helping people in need. Those who were in debt. Those who were asir, slaves. He would free them by paying money to the owners, to the masters. He would take care of those who were poor and needy, orphans. This was the money of Khadija was used for. One more thing about her, and inshallah I finish. Ibn Jawzi is an Ahlul Sunnah scholar, has a book by the name of Tadhkiratul Khawas. He talks about Khadija. He says, Kana Rasulullah yawadduha. Our Prophet had that love for Khadija. Yahtarimuha. He would honor her, respect her. Wa yushawiruha fi umurihi kulliha. And he would consult Khadija when it comes to his affairs and his matters. Everything. She was a wazir to Prophet. We know in Farsi and Urdu the word wazir. Wazir is translated as advisor. Right? Who is a wazir? We have the king and then we have the advisor, the one who's basically helping the king. But wazir literally comes from the word wizr. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Wizr means burden. Imagine when you carry something and it's heavy, that you have a difficult time to take it, to carry it, to handle it. It's called wizr. Wazir, an advisor called wazir, is because you're the one who carry the weight. You're taking a share of the hardship of that decision or the problem or the suffering of the one that you're giving consultation and advice to. You're carrying the burden of the others. And Khadija was a wazir to Prophet. Because people would insult Prophet and he was hurt, he was abused, he was insulted, and he would come And Khadija was there to share the suffering and the pain with him. كانت وزيرة صدق. She was an honest, a worthy advisor to the Prophet. And you know this statement? Just imagine, كان رسول الله يسكن إليها. This is from Ibn Jawzi. Again, this is not Shia perspective. This is a Muslim perspective, you can call it. He said that Prophet would find peace and sukoon with Khadija. The man, that entire existence find peace with him. Inna arsalnaka rahmatan lil alamin. He is the mercy for the world. He is the one that entire existence seek blessings and barakah from his existence. He finds sakina, tranquility and peace with Khadija. That should be enough for us to know who Khadija was. And remember, not everyone is like that. When you look at the history, yes, Prophet married other women, of course not until Khadija was alive. Until Khadija was alive, she was the only woman in the life of Prophet. After the death of Khadija, years later, Prophet got married again. And those people, again, in history has been mentioned, that's again among the reports is, that sometimes people would see how Prophet was treated by his own family, not in a good way. That people would hear his family scream at him. The shouting would have been heard from outside. So don't say, oh, obvious, he is the Prophet's wife. Yes, rahmatan lil alameen, the best of creation is living in that house. But for a marriage to work, everybody knows, especially Haji Farzad, we just saw a glimpse of that. For a marriage to work, it doesn't matter how perfect the husband is or how perfect the wife is. A marriage will be a tranquil and a good marriage when both sides contribute. When both are contributing. Otherwise, even a prophet of God alone will not be able to carry the entire marriage. Nuh alayhi salam, his wife, Imra'at Nuh. His wife was not someone who believed in the messenger of God. Lut alayhi salam's wife, similar. All these are examples that even a prophet of God with the isma, infallibility and perfection, if the other side doesn't want to be part of it, they won't be. And that will make it more difficult. The other way is true as well. Asiya, salamullah alayha, being a pious woman, and the husband is Fir'aun. So being good cannot carry the weight of the others all the time. So for Khadija, salamullah alayha, to say these words, yes, Prophet is the husband, but the wife is Khadija as well. That these are the ones that match each other perfectly. And that's why years later after the death of Prophet would send gifts to the friends of Khadija. And we have some people were jealous. So, oh Messenger of God, why you talk about this old lady? And they would intentionally say old to insult her. She died, why still talk about her? And tears will fill his eyes. And Prophet would say, how can I not talk about Khadija? Ayna mithlu Khadija. Where can I find like her? That she stood by my side when nobody else did. That she gave everything she had when nobody else was offering anything. Of course, when you win, of course, when everything is good, everybody wants to be with the winner. But the early years of a struggle, that's the moment. I always, a piece of advice to youngsters, they ask me about marriage a lot. Youngsters, I'm talking about single brothers and sisters. This is my advice. This is not religious. This is not fiqhi or jurisprudence. My advice. And this is from the history of the Prophet. Find someone to build your life with. Do not build a life to bring someone to that life. That's the best way to look at marriage. Somebody that is ready to build a life with you. Otherwise, somebody who's going to just jump on the bandwagon of your success. Inshallah, it could be good. It could be good. But the true worth is the one who they were stuck with you. They stood by your side when you were a nobody. When you were a nobody. That person is worth staying with for the rest of your life. Because otherwise, in the back of your mind, you always think, Oh, they would tell me to my face, I will never marry you if you wouldn't be this, if you wouldn't accomplish this, if you didn't have in this. In the back of your mind, you may ask yourself this question: what if I lose this one day? AI is out there. What if my job becomes obsolete and nobody cares about my profession, my job? What then? What if I have to start from zero again? And that person will say, oh, this is me being honest. It's good that they're honest with you, but that honestly has a price as well. And I finish with that: why Khadija married Prophet. This has been said in the word of Khadija. قَدْ رَغِبْتُ فِيكَ. She said to Prophet, so you know why I'm interested, why I desire marrying you, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are the criteria of Khadija to find someone in marriage. And I promise you, height is not one of them. How tall somebody is not one of them. Their hairline is not one of them. I know we like it, but it's not one of them. Their accent is not one of them. Their salary at the end of the year is not one of them. But you're more than happy. Again, you are in control of your fate. You can decide whatever you want. We are learning from Khadija. So there are 5 reasons I chose you, O Prophet. At that time, he's not a prophet, as I said. لِقِرَابَتِكَ مِنِّي. Number 1, because you are close to me. You're someone that I know. You're not a stranger. I saw you. I witnessed you. I watched over you. I know who you are. Just take a guess. Somebody who is sending you some message on some dating app that you never know that they existed, how reliable that person could be. Find people that you can get to know them, get to know about their family, a bit about their interest, likes and dislikes, things that can help you to make a decision. لَقِرَابَتِكَ مِنِّي. To marry outside your culture is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. But I'm telling you, when you marry outside your culture, you have to be ready for challenges. That person is not going to be familiar with things that you are familiar with, your family is familiar with. Be ready for the challenge. Is it haram? Obviously not. But just be ready. Do not make it a lovey-dovey, wishful thinking. The reality is when you marry someone who is not from the same shared value as you and your family, you're going to have frictions. You're going to have challenges, struggles. لَقِرَابَتِكَ مِنِّي. Number 2, وَشَرَفِكَ فِي قَوْمِكَ. I chose you because I know that you're noble. You're known to be noble and honorable among your own people. Your own people respect you. Somebody used to tell me that they would advise youngsters that if you want to marry someone, go ask the sibling of that person what kind of a person they are. If the sibling vouched for them, then you know this person probably is good. But if the sibling said, you know, my brother, please, if I was you, I would have borrowed an extra pair of feet and I would run away. If you are respected, how you treat your sister, most likely you would treat your wife. How you treat your mother, most likely you would treat your wife. Most likely, as I said, there are exceptions all the time. There are people who may treat their mother fine, but not their wife, but mostly. Third one, أَمَانَتِكَ عِنْدَهُمْ. The reason I chose you is because you are Ameen. Your trustworthiness among them. You have sharaf, dignity and honor among your people, among your family and relatives. And third is that you're trustworthy. 4, حُسْنَ خُلْقِك. I saw your akhlaq. You have well manners, good manners. Your attitude, your behavior, the way you treat people, the way you talk to servants, the way you talk to people who work with you, everything is a testimony of your akhlaq. And number 5, صِدْقُ حَدِيثِك. I'm interested in marrying you. I chose you because of your truthfulness. صِدْقُ حَدِيثِك. That you were truthful in your speech, in your words. These are the words. But unfortunately, I've seen people that sometimes they fall into somebody's ability to use their tongue in a weird way, use certain tricks, flirt better, whatever they refer to. Be careful. If somebody is not able to charm you in a way that you saw in movies and TV shows, it doesn't make him a boring, a horrible person. It makes you and your desires condition in that way. Truthfulness comes, once again, from investigation, from research, from asking around. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the honor of Khadija salamullah alayha, grant all of us the tawfiq of learning from the message of the Prophet, the message of his beloved wife, the mother of the believers, Khadija Kubra salamullah alayha. And may Allah grant us all in the day of judgment, as Prophet said, Arba'atun tashtaq lahumul jannah. There are four that heaven desires them. We all desire heaven. We are running after heaven. Heaven is running after four. And then Prophet said, Maryam, wa Asiya, wa Khadija, wa Fatima. Maryam, mother of Jesus, Asiya, wife of Fir'aun, Khadija, bint Khuwaylid, wife of Prophet, and Fatima, daughter of the Prophet. These are the ones that Jannah tashtaqhum. Jannah and heaven is looking after them. May Allah grant us to be, inshallah, in their presence in the day of judgment, to be resurrected with our Prophet and with his family, Ahlul Bayt. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the highest status of Jannah to all the believers, all the mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially all the pious women of our history, especially of Khadija Kubra salamullah alayha. Please recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let's inshallah remember all the marhumin, especially the marhumin of the sponsors of the iftar. And also remember tomorrow is the burial of marhuma Siddiqa Ahmed, wife of marhum Gul Ahmed, Haji Gul Ahmed, and mother of our brother Bashir, brother Zia, brother Yusuf. Inshallah, make sure those who can participate tomorrow at 9 a.m. at Beisht Zahra, Kaneho Mountain in Camarillo. It will be her burial. And tomorrow afternoon from 5 p.m. to iftar, it will be the Fatiha, Majlis Fatiha for this marhuma inshallah. فردا مراسم تشییع جنازه 9 صبح است در بهشت زهرا برای مرحومه مغفور صدیقه احمد، خانم حاجی گل احمد، خدا رحمت کنه. و فردا بعد از ظهر هم از ساعت 5 تا 7 بعد از ظهر در همین مسجد تا افطار بگیم، از 5 تا افطار مراسم قرآن خوانی و فاتحه این مرحومه مغفوره برگزار خواهد شد. رحم الله لمن قرأ الفاتحه مع الصلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، يا نبي الله، يا خير خلق الله، يا خاتم النبيين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا إمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، وعلى أمها خديجة الكبرى سلام الله عليها أم المؤمنين. السلام على الحسن والحسين سيد شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين. السلام على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي العسكري والخلف الهادي المهدي. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.